Thanks for tuning in to 80s Music Twin Ranked. And Chris, I need to ask you, how do you handle when we do our videos and afterwards we found out we forgot to say something, which happens quite frequently?
Don't look back.
Yeah, like, you remember Bruce Springsteen, right?
Yeah.
What'd you want to say about it?
What did I want to say?
What'd you forget to mention?
I don't remember.
That he did a Christmas song.
Oh, they did Christmas Eve.
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah.
You're like, "Ah!" right?
Right.
You wanted to say something because it's more than a feeling. You
Yeah.
want to act upon it.
Right, and I didn't think about it until later, right?
Right. So we got to do this because it's for our peace of mind. Okay? So I'm going to talk about The Storm. Do you remember this band? The Storm? Okay. So
Nobody remembers that band.
last week we did Styx. And I'm surprised we didn't talk about The Storm. Oh, sorry, I had it upside down.
They can't see it anyways.
But we had The Storm that did a same titled song as Styx last week. And they actually put their song out months before. Wasn't as big a hit, but it's called Show Me the Way. You should check this supergroup out. They have 3 members of Journey, right? Steve Smith, Ross Valerie, and Greg Raleigh, the lead singer before Steve Perry. And they had a hit called I've Got a Lot to Learn About Love. Check it out. Alright?
Feel better?
Feeling satisfied.
Alright, are we ready?
We're ready. Hello world, or welcome back, whichever you want to say again. I'm Joel.
I'm Chris.
And again, this is 80s Music Twin Ranked, where we rank 70s bands. No, 80s bands.
They had
They had an album in
the album
80s.
I own Third Stage. I
Third
think
Stage.
I got the first album too later.
Right.
Which I told you they play all 8 songs on Classic Rock Station.
And I
Which
listened.
it actually says in
It does
Wikipedia
say
they
that,
do
and I don't remember a few of them.
Yeah, it says they only released 3. Now, last week, we had said, do we know any other cities besides Boston in Massachusetts?
Okay.
So I looked it up. I'm like, okay, well, are there any? And there are. Salem,
Salem, Massachusetts.
Salem Witch Trials.
That's where the witch trials
Yeah.
are? Okay.
Plymouth, what could that be famous for?
Oh, is that something about our country?
Other events we had the Boston, marathons there, and they had the bombing a few years back.
The Tea Party.
Cambridge University. Cambridge
Okay.
is in Cambridge.
A lot
So
of missionaries come from there.
yeah, so
Or no, that's Cambridge in England. Never mind. I'm wrong. Misinformation that I'm throwing out there.
and also I wanted to see if there was any. Remember we talked about. Well, we didn't talk. I mentioned it when we were recording, but what other bands came from Boston? I
Okay.
said I think Aerosmith came from Boston.
Right.
They are. They're called the Bad Boys of Boston.
Okay.
The Cars also came from Boston. I didn't
Cars,
realize that.
okay.
And Massachusetts, the state, New Kids on the Block. Do we have them on our list? Do you have?
No. I could have.
Yeah, because they're in the 80s, right?
Yeah, they are 80s. Well, they're not going to be in the top.
They're not really a band.
Yeah.
They're a band. They're like
boy band.
No boy band. Which
Did anybody
is more,
play instruments? I doubt it.
Yeah, boy band
So,
is more of.
Reminds
fun
me
group that
more
dances
of
to
the
their
stuff that
songs.
came from the 90s, with all those boy bands.
Oh.
Okay, but you did note a specific band that ties us to last week as well, right?
Yeah, so there's a former member of Boston.
Okay, do you know which one?
David White, I think it was.
Okay,
his name.
I don't know
I could
who
have
that is.
I could have the last name wrong, but he formed a band. It's called Boss Sticks. So he's from Boston, and they do Styx hits,
Gotcha.
cover songs.
So did they do Boston cover songs or just Styx?
I'm assuming they would do Boston too. I think Yeah, I saw Boston.
He's
songs.
from the band, maybe.
Yeah. Also in Boston, it was the start of the Revolutionary War. The first shot was heard in Jamestown. And,
Yeah, and we remember that movie, Johnny Tremaine.
Yeah, Johnny Tremaine.
That's how we know the Revolutionary War.
Who was
kids.
also Paul Revere.
Right,
was
right.
from Boston, where he did
Oh, yeah,
that.
well, we're not gonna start talking about all the famous people from Boston.
But we're not here to talk about the historical Boston. We're talking about the band.
Although I can tell you this, that would make this video longer because Boston is not a group that I care for.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, this we're doing Boston now because we're getting
Finishing
your top 20 because
Right.
we did mine already, and I had Styx way down there, but I had Boston way down there. As a matter of fact, I liked Elton John better than Boston. You did too. You had a top 10, but I didn't have him. He was way down there too.
No, we didn't do that. Well, Chicago. When we did Chicago, I just guess we did mention a few historical things, but not much.
No.
What else is in Illinois?
No, let's not do that. Let's talk about Abraham Lincoln because it isn't even there. Okay, but so interestingly, the band's called Boston,
Right.
and the guy who formed the band,
Tom Schultz.
he actually went to a college in Massachusetts, but he was born in Toledo, Ohio. But everybody else in the band was from Massachusetts.
Right.
So, and I don't even think they picked their name. Some company did.
Right. There was like 6 songs he had already penned before they even formed the band.
Well, most of them are on that first album. He
Yeah,
did everything. He did all the instruments.
Yes, 5 of them are from that album, and the 6th song that they had went on the second album. Also, "Let Me Take You Home Tonight" was a what do you call it when? Oh, look over here! It's a distraction. There was a distraction from a record company, so because they're like, come on to their studio and record all your songs. He wanted to do them in his basement. He had a pretty good studio in his basement. Tom Schultz did, and he played all the instruments. And then later, when they already had the track done,
That was the only song somebody else did.
yeah, they did it in front of the studio executives. It's probably the only one Tom Schultz doesn't play on.
Right, and the original drummer wasn't a part of that. He drummed when they originally wrote him, but he wasn't part of the.
Yeah, so Tom Schultz did all the instruments. Most of them. There's some couple of drum tracks by the other drummer, but at home in his basement with his recording equipment. So
that reminds me of ELO. "Don't Bring Me Down" was written by the main guy, Jeff Lynne,
Right.
and none of his other band members. I don't know how ticked they were about that, but
well, not only that, Tom Schultz formed a company. I can't remember what it was called. It was SR&D, but I don't remember what it stands for. But they made a Rockman something equipment, and all Rockman equipment was used on Def Leppard's Hysteria.
yeah, you know what? They're known for a specific piece of equipment. I read that, and I can't
Yeah,
remember
an
what it is.
amplifier maybe, or
Right.
something for a guitar.
Yeah. So now, what's your favorite album? I'm not a big Boston guy, so I couldn't tell you which is my favorite. I would think Third Stage because we like 80s music, but I know that first one has everything.
Yeah, everything on the first album I know, so I like it for that.
Not only that, I've
Third
heard-
Stage, I don't like all the songs,
Right.
So I'd probably say the first album slightly above because of that.
Yeah, and that album, that was their debut album. Best debut ever from a band.
At that time.
At that time. I don't know who was
Guns N' Roses' Appetite.
Okay,
30
gotcha.
seconds,
That makes sense. But yeah, that was the highest charting or best-selling debut, beating out what? Van Halen and
I
the
don't know
Cars.
who had it up to then, but
Yeah, I don't know who they beat, who they went after.
I believe that was also their best-selling album.
Probably, you would think. I know that the second one went down by like half.
They sold like
Half
17 million. Since then, they've sold 20 million of that.
Yeah.
album.
Now you look behind us. That's their complete chart of their albums.
Which is funny because when they signed their contract,
it said give us 10 albums in 7 years. Who does that?
And they don't even have 10 albums.
Who would even sign that contract? 10 albums in 7 years.
I don't know, but
That's a lot of albums, even for a good, good band.
also, and then when they went to court after the second album, they went to court.
And that's the reason for the gap.
Yeah,
is court
'cause
time. I've never seen. Have you ever seen a band in court as often as?
And the funny thing is, because you would think the corporation would win, and they didn't. It was
Right.
the band.
Yeah. So I like that part. But I mean, it sucks for him. He's only got to put out like 6 albums total.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's too bad. And that's why there is a long time between a couple of their albums.
Well, he was like he's a perfectionist. Let's make the perfect song.
Gotcha.
Kind of reminds me of the lead singer to Steely Dan. He's a perfectionist.
I don't know who the
I
other
can't
is.
remember his
I
name.
assumed his name was Steely
Dan Fogelberg?
Is
No,
it?
that's not Dan
Dan
Fogelberg.
Fogelberg. It doesn't sound anything like.
No,
Steely.
it's I can't remember his name.
All right, so 1976 is when he comes out. And practically, they're a 70s band because 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, within 3 year period, 2 albums, and most of their hits come from those.
Yeah.
Um,
And then Third Stage came in '96,
Third
and that's
Stage.
why we have them on this list.
right, and I remember "We're Ready" was the best song to drum to,
Yeah, it was.
and then mainly because of the
Hi-hat start.
yeah, but yeah, Amanda, that was their only #1 song too.
I know.
and it doesn't sound
That's
like
their
anything else.
only like ballad too, isn't it? Well, yeah.
More
it's-
than a feeling, kinda is.
Let Me Take You Home Tonight might be a slow song. It speeds up at the end.
I don't
It
remember
goes,
that
let me take you, and then
I
it starts
don't
doing
remember
the
that.
drums like this.
Like I told you, I don't remember a lot of their stuff being on the radio.
Yeah.
And then, when they had another 7 year, was it? No, it was an 8 year gap between 3 and 4.
Yeah,
Which
which
was
was after
awesome.
after the third stage. It's just hardcore. Fans.
And not only that, but I mean, again, 80s music was good, and then you changed in the 90s, and nobody from the 90s likes 80s music, so
Yeah.
Boston was done.
Yeah.
They had one song, it didn't even chart in the
Yeah,
top 20.
and then 2003, they're not gonna get back together because 2003 they lost their voice.
The lead
Brad
singer,
Delp,
Brad
committed suicide.
Delp, he was in a few other bands.
Yeah. Locked himself in a bathroom and had like a hose from his car, I think, to the bathroom.
Oh, so he did the carbon monoxide.
Carbon monoxide, yeah.
Okay. And then one other guy died 10 years after that. I think the drummer, 2013.
Yeah,
died,
yeah.
So for sure they're not getting back together.
Yeah.
Although, they could have Tom Schultz and other band members. Lots of band members get back together.
Tom Schultz is like
Or that guy that does Boston.
He's in his 70s. I mean, come on.
That's true. That's true. And yeah, when you look at a picture, he looks like Stephen King without the beard. Yeah, but so yeah, you got basically the first 4 albums where the hits come from, even though that 4th one has one hit. I'm not sure that I remember it.
And as far as I say, nothing. Do they movies?
no movies.
No movies. I mean,
Weird Al.
they had a hard time putting albums out. There was
Yeah,
no Weird
nobody's
Al,
coming first.
no Christmas songs. So
Yeah, so basically, and let me just tell you, Boston has a distinct sound.
yeah,
Nobody else sounds like them.
right.
The only problem is all their songs sound just like them, and they don't
got
veer very
they
much.
got a lot of good part. Foreplay, which is the beginning before a long time, kind of reminds me. Coming into long time reminds me, fooling yourself. The intro and
Yeah,
then it
right.
goes in the guitar.
You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know what? The thing about in a long time, I'll tell you what, today, nowadays, the one song you're going to hear for sure is More Than a Feeling. But 2 decades ago, I don't remember hearing that very often. The one song I knew we would hear, long time, all the time.
I can't. I rank More Than a Feeling way down here because
Yeah, I know
it's
you
so
do.
overplayed.
Yes. But long time used to be the overplayed song. And that song...
They
whenever-
always play the intro to it. Foreplay is
Yeah.
always played
Yeah,
before
they
it.
did.
So
You know what that song reminds me of?
What's that?
It's similarity-wise? Carry On My Wayward Son by Kansas.
Her.
Those 2 songs I always heard on the same radio station, practically side by side.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things being a 70 band, I can understand why, and they only had 1 album from the 80s. You know, they only ever put out 4 music videos for their songs. And I tried looking them up, and I couldn't find all 4. But my guess is they're all live versions because they wouldn't have done anything like REO Speedwagon did and stuff like that. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, MTV became in the 80s, and
80s,
they only
right.
really had
And they
Third
had the
Stage. So
Yeah, why they didn't? I mean, Amanda might have had a video, but I don't know that they were in it. Might have been just focused on the woman. That was it. Yeah. So we're practically gonna hit all their hits on our top 10. So if you wanna move on,
very much top
go to
10.
top 10. All right, so honorable because there's limited hits because of the old Black albums. Reminds me of Don Henley. He only had 5 albums stretched over a long period of time. Right? There's only one miss, and that's from you. and it's "Can't You Say You Believe in Me."
I'm okay with that.
Yes. I had that on 11, and so it only missed by 1 point. So number 10, most of these will be from the debut, probably, I would assume. "Peace of Mind." You have this one at 9. I have it at 8. And this is one of those songs. There's a lot of songs out there that people don't remember what the words were. And every time I heard this, I swear I thought it was "Piece of Pie," not "Peace of Mind." Have my piece of pie. And there was another line in it. They don't say it, but I swear they said FBI too. You ever get that? Anyways, your lyrics and your stuff. Did they say that?
Yeah.
But no, they didn't.
So the question is, pie or cake?
Comment below. Vote for pie or cake. Okay. Don't order the "Peace of Mind." Okay, next one up comes from "Don't Look Back," and obviously there'll only be 2 songs on our list from "Don't Look Back" because there were 3 released, and the third one is a slow one.
I'll be better
man. Yeah, "Man I'll Never Be You."
Oh, no, okay.
Which I don't remember, but that one ranked somehow, even though I don't remember.
I don't remember it either.
Okay, so "Feeling Satisfied," and I have this one at 7.
Dun, 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 dun.
Is that the one that has the clapping?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. A couple might have clapping actually, but you have that one at 10. Next one up, and look, we're hitting all the albums already. "Third Stage." This would be "Cool the Engines," which I'm not sure was ever.
I didn't think it was on the radio. You said it was.
Well, Wikipedia says it got in quotations airplay.
Yeah, Amanda and "We're Ready" are the only 2 I actually remember on the radio.
I might have heard it once or twice. Again,
I had the album. That's why I
So
remember
it's
the
hard to
song.
know.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
A lot of those that I had the album, I'm like, oh, did it actually play on the radio? Because I already heard it, so I didn't remember which one.
We can go way back to Huey Lewis. I don't ever remember hearing "I Know What I Like," but it says it ranked in the top 20. I'm like, really? Okay, if it ranked in the top 20, how come it's not on the radio? That's weird. Okay, so I have.
I was gonna say I just heard a song yesterday. Never mind it because I don't remember at the moment. I don't remember what song it was, but there was a song. I'm like, hey, this song. Oh, it was Night Ranger.
Which song?
Because they always play Sister
Christian.
Christian, and it was "Don't Tell Me You Love Me." I'm like, hey, they played a different song. That worked yesterday.
Well, you know what? Since you mentioned songs that don't play, I happened to turn on 106.9, which is harder rock. It played Quiet Riot's "Mental Health."
Yeah.
Instead of "Come On Feel the
Yeah,
Noise."
they
never hear that one.
Yeah, you're right.
And I just got the CD from Footloose to listen to. I didn't realize Mental Health was in Footloose.
Yeah.
So when that scene was, I don't know. But "Cool the Engines" is our number 8 song from Boston. I have this at 9. You have it at 6. This is probably the closest song to make you realize they're talking about the album cover. Right? Which I don't think you mentioned on camera. You mentioned it to me yesterday off camera.
Yeah,
all
the
their
spaceship
albums-
is a guitar shaped like a guitar.
Right. And yeah, but it's on all their albums, right?
Right.
Basically a spaceship. And just a reminder, pretty soon we'll be doing Jefferson Starship. And by the way, we mentioned you might have mentioned it last week because we did Styx.
And
We did.
okay.
So you did mention it, yeah.
That's why I
Because they had,
mentioned
what the song "Come Sail Away" is a starship. Okay, they weren't talking about Boston though. Next one up would be from the debut, and that's "More Than a Feeling," their overplayed song. That's why you got it way down at 13. This is my wife's favorite song, probably the only song from Boston she'll listen to. If anything else was on, I'm sure she'd take turn that off. But when this song's on, and my boys go to change the station, she's like, "Don't!" This song she wants to hear. And I have this one as high as number 2, mostly because I think most of their other songs sound alike. Okay, next one up from the debut again. This is "Rock and Roll Band." And, 6 of the songs I actually did recognize. 3 were released. And then 3 were not. I believe "Rock and Roll Band" is probably one that wasn't released. So
what I read also is the more airplay is from the first side. When I say first side,
yeah.
CDs, they're on one side. No, well, you got these on cassette. You played one side and you had to flip the tape and play the other side.
Was that the case with records too? Or with all, you didn't flip?
No, records were no. You didn't flip records.
Right. But
But you remember DVDs when DVDs first came out
yeah,
for movies? They had both sides for stuff. Now they only do one side, and if you have something extras, you just get 2 DVDs. Before it was,
which might, I don't know, is that cheaper than
know.
burning on the second side of it? I don't know, could be. All right, so More Than a Feeling's number 7. I have this at 2, you have it 13, which is why it's way lower, because we disagree on that one. And so Rock and Roll, oh, we weren't actually on More Than a Feeling, we're on Rock and Roll Band, number 6, which I have at 10, and you have at 4. So this is Universal. The other way
such
on
a
this
generic title, though. Isn't
I
it?
know. Yeah, it's like
it's not the name of the band. What do you call it? Rock and Roll Band?
I know.
That's what you are.
You know, it reminds me of, Foreigner talking about Jukebox Hero.
Speaking of names, before you
Okay,
Boston was not originally called Boston.
what were they called? I knew they had another.
Mother's Milk.
Mother's Milk.
Mother's Milk.
Yeah,
And
change it.
also, I can't remember which album it was. I was going to say Third Stage, but one of the albums was originally titled, I think it was Third Stage, titled Arrival. And then they changed the
Because-
name of it
because,
because 2 years prior there was a band that had
the same title.
Same
on it.
title.
I can't remember too.
I want to say ABBA. Was it ABBA? Did that?
Might have been ABBA.
Okay, and
And then Journey had that title
Yeah.
eventually, because Journey loves one-word titles.
But so we talked about this before, but there were actually some of the sleeves that said Arrival and sent out. And I'm like, those probably collector's items if you have one.
That's right. Well, that reminds me of Night Ranger, because they were originally Ranger, and then they had to burn all those.
Oh, yeah,
and they changed
yeah.
their name.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of collectors' albums that people are kicking themselves. What? Okay, so Rock and Roll Man number 6, and this is the one that we're bipolar on the other way. You like it a lot, and I don't. I have it at number 10, you have it at number 4. And again, I was saying it reminds me of songs like Foreigners, Jukebox Hero, talking about people who are now on the radio you're listening to, and then Bad Company.
Rock and Roll Star.
I forget what it's called. Don't you know that you are a superstar? I forget what it's called though. When we get to Bad Company, we'll remind you. Because it's another band that the early stuff I didn't listen to at the time.
Yeah, that guy, like, it suggests he overdosed in the song. Nah, he didn't
Bad
commit
Company,
suicide.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how I,
Woke up,
Johnny.
died in his bed.
yeah. He had pills beside his bed, yeah.
Right. Okay. Number
Sleeping tablets and a bottle of whiskey, that's what
Now you remember the lyrics, huh? Okay, number 5 would be Don't Look Back. I have this at number 4. You have it at number 8. And I'll tell you the one thing I remember about this is, so I was after leaving here one day, one of the stations had a block where they were doing like 4 or 5 songs in a row, and it was in Boston. And the first song I heard, I thought, was Don't Look Back. But it actually was, or no, I thought it was We're Ready. And then it was Don't Look Back. And then the next song they played, We're Ready. And I'm like, they sound alike.
And Don't Look Back's a weird song because they don't actually say Don't Look Back until the end.
Yeah.
They repeat it several times, but during the chorus, it's not said. So.
Yeah. Another song.
You want another song I heard today? Badlands from Bruce Springsteen. I never heard that on the
Was that
radio.
even on the list that I gave
Yeah,
you?
it was on the
Okay.
list you gave me, but I never hear it.
And I probably would have turned it because I don't care for Bruce Springsteen's old stuff.
I had to listen to it because it's never on the radio.
Right, never on the radio. Play the stuff we don't hear. All right. So that was number 5. Number 4 is Amanda. And I have this one at 6, and you have it at number 5. And I would say this is a rarity. A slow song up high. But again, this one sounds so different for them, right? It doesn't even remind you of a Boston. It doesn't really have the guitar they're known for, with all the different and intricate parts of all the different instruments.
It does. It's like.
Yeah, but even that guitar, it might. I mean,
It does.
It sounds
The guitar
similar, but
solo
it's a
is-
slow one.
it's
so
slower,
it's
yeah.
not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it's not the same. All right, now let's get to the song that has boatload of stuff in it, and that is the one you just played me, "Smokin'." This is our number 3 coming from the debut. I have this at 5. I considered putting it higher because I do like all that stuff in the middle. But I just like the
I
other stuff.
again, I play for you, but we like it.
And then the bass comes in, do 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 do,
And then it has the drums, the solo.
Yeah. So
The keyboards in that section remind me of the Blues Brothers when they're talking to Ray Charles, going, "This doesn't have any action." And he says, "I was like, ooh," it sounds like that keyboard.
oh yeah, that's true. You're right. So this is number 3. You had it at 3. I had it at 5. So we just did number 3 cut off, but just repeat. You had it at smoking. You had it at 3. I had it at 5. Next one up would be the one that I used to think played all the time. That's Foreplay / Long Time. Again, I think we discussed songs like this that they played 2 consecutively.
What I was gonna say about that was Huey Lewis. He had they had the album 4 and Hard at Play. 4 Play.
Oh yeah. But they weren't in
a
a
big
row. They weren't in a row. They had
Yeah.
small world in between, right?
Right.
Okay, so you had that one at number 2, and I had it at number 3. And again, probably because I'm most familiar with this one more than the feeling. This one and our number 1, which we both.
When
agreed-
listening to this on headphones and playing the drums, the trick was trying to find out when that bass drum came in.
Yeah. That's right. There's that gap. Okay, so for the second week in a row, we both agree on the number 1, and we just mentioned it's because it's got the cool drums you play, and that would be We're Ready.
Yeah, because it's not a simple 2/4 beat.
Right.
That's why.
Yeah.
Anything that has a cool drum beat, we like. So.
Yeah, and is it the only song where you hear the backup group going, ooh? I don't know any other songs where they do something like that. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, but it's similar to some of their other songs, but it's just different enough to be really good.
Yeah. So that's probably, I'm sure that's the song, that's the reason I bought the Third Stage album.
Right.
Was for that specific song.
I don't remember if that came out before.
Yeah, remember we didn't have YouTube.
No.
So if you wanted to hear something,
No.
you had to own it.
Yeah, that and again, I say, would you buy an album based on 1 or 2 songs? But back then, you kind of had to.
Yeah.
You didn't know what you were getting except for what was released.
Yeah, unless you were by the radio and had a cassette in there, it's like, well, I got it. Oh, why are you still talking?
Right, while it's playing, and they cut it off right when the singer starts. It's like, why would you do that? You ruined the song. Anyway, so that's our top 10. Do you agree, disagree, comment, share, like,
Subscribe.
yeah, whatever. Click the bell, whatever that is. Do we have a bell on ours? I wouldn't even know.
And everything. Yeah.
All right, so next week, who do we have next week?
Sirens and lights and
Flashing.
bees. Bees, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so I don't know.
And there's all your clues.
Yeah.
You can figure out from those clues.
We'll go ahead and defund our video for next week.
Why? Oh, I gotcha.
Not that we're getting funded for anything else.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, so we got a trio next week, and
Yeah.
now you know it for sure. So we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.